a little confused. Like when I woke up from all of this, I did believe that I did speak with Jesus Christ because I felt like, well, it would be too easy for him to say it in English. Like I actually sought to figure out what it was that he said. And he speaks in parables. We all know that he speaks in parables all the time. And there are times where people don't understand. But then they eventually understand it if they go and seek to find, live like how I used to live in the past and just be on the devil's team. Like I would never, after all that I've seen so far, like why would I want to? You know, I've seen some really dark, scary things.
Yeah, no, same. Which is, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't indulge in some of the things I used to indulge in, and why I don't go dark. And then the moment I start to go dark, the moment I start to go to depression, the moment I start to, because I know I got two polar opposite sides. I got one side that, you know, wants to be a philanthropist, and I want to be a motivational speaker. Then I got one side that's like a heavy metal, like just like hard. And you know, I have to at times know, like, what am I doing? Where am I at right now on the spectrum? Am I on the light side, or am I just being completely dark?
And that's another thing. I was like talking yesterday about the concept of yin and yang. Like, what do you think about that? Like accepting your whole self for who you are, whether that's both light and dark. Like, what do you think about this concept?
I practice it just because I know it's not like, as long as I don't do anything bad and I'm not like actively putting out negative energy and bad energy. Like if I turn it into something good, that's because you need that balance. If I was all good, right? If I was all good, there would be no need for even a term bad. If we were all good, there would be no need for a difference or to distinguish between good and bad. It would just be all good.
How can you learn? Because it's about transformation, right? I feel like you have to be put in these dark situations to learn from these situations. I feel like what I've experienced with all of these dark things has taught me a lot so far. So it's just like, where would I be if I didn't learn these things? Like I didn't know, like I would have just been going out into the spiritual world so blind into thinking that I'll be okay. But this has taught me to be safe. This has taught me to take precautions to keep myself protected when I've entered the spiritual realm, or when I'm communicating with the spiritual realm. I'm learning how to protect myself. So I felt like these dark situations needed to happen. Otherwise, how was I going to learn? So I think in a way it does create some sort of balance in a way.
I don't think I've still really went over my situation with the poltergeist back in Chicago. I still really haven't found meaning in that.
I've seen that. Remember when we were in, where did you used to live? Hyde Park. I've seen some sort of dark shadow that just swept across the area. I was the only person in the room that saw it. And I was like, whoa, what was that? And then you told me that there was like dark spirits there. But it disappeared. Like that was the only night that I saw it, but that was the only time that I like recognized it.
Did you ever go to my apartment in Edgewater? The one that was like right by the beach?
No.
Love that spot. But that spot, that's where I had one of those other dreams too. One of my aunts who had just passed. And the dream is kind of funny, but it's not. Because in the dream, I was about to have sex with some girl. And it was, you know, we were both like naked walking to the bed. And all of a sudden I hear a knock at the door. And I'm thinking, well, who the hell is this? And because nobody just pops up. Like T lived below me, but she wouldn't just pop up. She'd always call and say, hey, you do anything? I'm going to come on up. So I go to the door and I open it, and it's the aunt who's passed away. And I'm looking like, and I know her just from when I was a little kid. She was that aunt that like will pop you real quick. Like she's sweet as all get out, but she's the aunt that don't play her. If you called her by her name, it's aunt such and such. And was my Aunt Eula. I love my Aunt Eula. It was funny. She kept it 1,000 all the time, 100% 1,000. And so I closed the door real quick because I'm like, I don't want her to see what I'm about to do. Like, you know, I ain't trying to get yelled at. And then I opened the door back up real quick, and because I had the chain on the door, and her eyes were pitch black, and her mouth was elongated, and she goes, "Why are you doing this to me?" I slammed the door, and obviously I knew that wasn't her. But
I'm glad you slammed the door. That's crazy.
This is the same place where the dishes were thrown.
You saw
the
dishes?
About that?
Oh, I don't. Maybe you did. Maybe I've forgotten. The dishes were thrown.
Yeah. So
what?
this was nuts, man. Like, it made me question my sanity 100% because it was just like, what is going on? It started with like my door rattling. So the handles to my door would just rattle like crazy. That led to the outside of the apartment, and so I moved. It was a 1-bedroom. I turned the bedroom into a studio. The living room was where I had my bed and basically where I lived. And then there was a kitchen. And it's like this: kitchen, living room, actual bedroom. And so I'm in the bedroom, or the studio, quote unquote, mixing. No, one night I'm reading the news. And this is, sorry, I'm mixing up let me go back. What started first was the door rattling. And it used to rattle because people would leave the fire escape open. I was on the 4th floor, and the fire escape. And so the wind would come in. We in Chicago, right by the lake. The wind would come in and rattle the doors. Well, one night it's rattling so aggressively, like more than it ever would. And it was in the middle of the night, and I'm thinking, like, what in the world? Like, it's not windy outside. Like, you'd be able to hear. My windows are right here. I'd be able to tell if it was really windy outside.
Right.
It's not windy outside. And it's going to town. Just and I yell, "Stop!" And it stops. A few nights later, middle of the night, I'm waking up. I can't breathe. I get in the Uber and I go down to Northwestern Hospital. They're checking me out. This is literally like 3 a.m. They're checking me out. I had to cancel off work and everything that next day because I was in the hospital in the middle of the night. Nothing. They find absolutely, positively nothing. And it feels like my throat is closing. I believe I was choked in retrospect because I was still I didn't put none of this together until the dishes were thrown. Like, oh, there was something going on here. In my mind's eye, I used to see this little girl in the apartment. It was a little white girl, and I thought she was harmless. I always see her in like the hallway leading to the bathroom had like an arch. So I would always kind of see her there, but I never really thought nothing of it. I've been followed by like kid spirits multiple occasions. There was one at the UC. I used to play tricks on people in my room, which was funny.
Yeah, Malcolm was saying that they play tricks. Malcolm was, when we had that conversation about the spirits, Malcolm was saying that the children plays tricks on people.
Oh yeah, he used to play tricks. When I was asleep, it would run his finger across my face, and then all of a sudden be gone. Or what it would do is it would poke my friend Alana. We were watching a scary movie one day, and she all of a sudden, I go to the bathroom and she screams. It poked her on the butt.
That's
and I was
playful,
like, yeah, it had to be the kids.
Yeah.
But so that happens. But once again, I'm not putting 2 and 2 together. So one day I'm reading a news article online. I used to read the news for here so I can make sure everything's all right, you know, and here where my family is. And all of a sudden the screen, just imagine this. The screen drips down until it's all white. And then the computer turns off.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
I turn it, obviously a bad thing. I turn the computer back on. It's working perfectly fine. I type it in online. I type it in on what happened on Facebook. And one of my friends, Lily K, she's a singer out there. Shout out to Lily, doing her thing. Her mom responded and said, "It sounds like you're dealing with some kind of spirit." But I was thinking, like, no. Like, I didn't feel like it was anything bad. So I kind of just really didn't pay too much attention to it.